process of making these films, some beautiful coincidences happened in the imagery and the symbolism, these common threads between each story. And the films were all made at the same time during the pandemic by artists alone in their studios, you know, one in Halifax, one in Rama First Nation, one in Toronto. Like, they're just, you know, these amazing mad geniuses working away frame by frame, and they weren't in touch with each other. I was talking to each of them, but each team of, you know, the writer director team really, I sent them off to go make the thing they wanted to make. And what was really beautiful is that what they came back with on their own is that there was these common threads. And so while each film stands alone and was created independently, when you watch them in a row, you'll see heart imagery in each one, which is not surprising around, you know, heartache, but even like anatomical hearts really make their way. There's a constellation of stars in the shape of an anatomical heart in Heart Like a Powwow. In A Bear Named Jesus, there's a heart that's placed inside the bear's chest and it's lit with a match to kind of reignite it. And in my film, there's a heart that's crocheted that you see unravel, and inside are these photos. And so the heart was a common image. There's also a number of different ways that stars are used, and depending on, I mean, for different Indigenous nations, for some, stars are where we come from. It's our not my, it can be where, you know, people come from. It's the origin, like of star women flying to Earth. We come from the stars. For other cultures, stars are our ancestors. Like, we return to the stars, and that's where our ancestors are. And so there was some beautiful sort of like nation-specific uses of stars, but at the same time, you see them in a few different films. And in my film, or in the films too, like the ways of personifying or representing grief were really interesting. I mean, in A Bear Named Jesus, the bear, Jesus, is really kind of this representation of born-again Christianity and these sort of outside forces coming to the reserve without judgment of Christianity, but that like person-specific experience with it. In my film, there's a wolf and also a person who represent sorrow and grief, and the wolf is this at first kind of nagging companion who jumps on your bed and doesn't leave you alone and knocks things over, but eventually, you know, you take him on a walk and he gets kind of domesticated, and you get used to living together. And so it was really cool to see how each of these artists on their own were coming up with, you know, ways to visually represent grief, and it turns out they were coming to some of the same ideas.